Are you struggling to start speaking in English and you are thinking where to begin? Yeah, many learners face this challenge and I have been there too. This is not a rocket science. All we need to do talk about solution. So in this video I am going to talk about solution and going to giving you important tips which will definitely going to help you because I also implemented it in my English journey and still I am learning and I have a couple of years of experience. So on the basis of that experience, I'm going to giving you some important tips. So please watch entire video so that you can get those ideas and you can implement it, and as well as you would be able to embark on your English speaking journey in a good manner. So the first important tip is that immerse yourself in English environment. Why it is important? Because immersing yourself in English environment or learning any language environment, that will help you to learn that language easily. But the difficulty or challenging thing is that how to create a English environment. Many learners face this challenge, like how am I supposed to create an physical environment, because I have no one whom with I can do practice and everybody are Hindi native speakers. So there is no one whom with I can speak English. So how can I speak English and how to get that kind of exposure which get the other learners get and they are speaking English very good because they have the environment. So I have a solution for this. Instead of creating physical English environment, you can create virtual English environment, which would done by with the help of your phone. Simply switch into the English related content via your phone and you can consume it. So now you are watching me on your screen. So simply you can start watching other English related content as well, like English podcast, English movies, English stories, and try to read English articles as well, right? So is it really important to immersing yourself to learn this language? Yeah, is it? It is very important. So I'm giving you practical example how we learnt our mother tongue. Did we get some books or grammar rules or anything else in order to learn our Hindi language? No. We had environment, we had that kind of a exposure, so we learnt it. Right. So simply now we can't create a physical environment. I can understand it. But we can create a virtual environment. So we can surround ourselves with English related content. So whenever you are, so instead of watching unnecessary content, you can simply switch into English related content and start watching it. Let's discuss about second important tip which you need to keep in your mind. There is a 4 aspect to learn any language, which is reading, writing, listening and speaking, and every aspect of his own importance. So you don't need to skip and you need to watch entire video and you need to know the importance of each and every aspect so that you can learn this language very easily. And if you are complete beginner, then you need to know it. You might wondering, how can I possibly start speaking in English? It all begins with something we often overlook, which is reading, right? So try to engage yourself with written English, whether it is a street sign or short articles. Why? Because it will form your foundation. Because reading helps you to absorb the language naturally, and as well as it will help you to learn the common phrases and as well as sentence structure. But you might ask, how do I make reading habit? The answer lies in finding content that genuinely interests you. Let's move on listening part. Listening has its own importance. So have you ever noticed how children effortlessly pick up their native language? They immerse themselves in the sound of the language long before they speaking. So similarly, we also need to immerse ourselves long before speaking English by watching English related content, as I have already mentioned, right? You might ask, how do I understand spoken English better? It's all about active listening. Focus on the rhythm, stress or melody of the words. Your brain will tune in these patterns over a time. After completing listening and reading, you have something to speak out. You have read something, you have listened something, you have some data in your mind, which data you can serve in front of any kind of a conversation whenever you will appear or indulge in any conversation. So I am giving you the example for clarity what I am really want to convey you. For example, if you would have ingredients huge amount of ingredients, then you would find yourself you can create multiple dishes or cook multiple dishes, right? So similarly, if you would have phrases, vocabularies, then you would find yourself to create or construct any kind of a sentences, and you would find yourself like you can do it, or you are able to convey your message and thoughts very easily. It will only happen when you would have a great amount of ingredients or great amount of vocabularies, or some common sentences or phrases that you really need to learn, or that will come in your mind or by reading and listening. Let's talk about writing. Writing has its own importance. When you jot down your thoughts, ideas, or maintain a journal, on that time you reinforce those vocabularies which you have already read or listened by podcast. So you might be wondering, how can I improve my writing skills? Practice, my friend, practice. The more you practice, the more proficient you become in writing skills, right? So initially you can create or simple sentences, or create small paragraph, and after that you can challenge yourself to create complex sentences. Now it's your turn to take action. Start by listening and reading. Alright? And immerse yourself in English environment as well as do active listening, and don't hesitate to do mistake. Mistake is a part of learning. Alright? But one thing I would like to highlight you, do mistake but don't repeat it again and again. Just learn from your mistake. And one more thing I would like to let you know, which is be consistent, guys. Okay, consistency is the key to success. If you find these tips helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe my